There are two very outstanding young talents on the Boston Celtics roster, Jaylen Brown and Jayson Tatum. But the question is, which of these two men are better? Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Before we get started with this video, if this is your first time visiting the channel, don't forget to subscribe and click on the bell button to stay in touch with all the fun-filled and entertaining videos we share right here on this channel. This sports topic is undoubtedly on the lips of every basketball lover, especially fans of the Boston Celtics team. Everyone has been discussing and very much would like to know whether Tatum or Brown has the better future in the team for a long-term play. In today's video, however, we would like to discuss the best young talent Boston Celtics will get to keep. Will it be Jaylen Brown or Jayson Tatum? Jayson Tatum and Jaylen Brown's input to the success of the Boston team need not be overemphasized. Their worth in the team goes as far as telling us how far the team would go. Invariably, it is safe to say that the success of the Boston Celtic team is linked with the presence of these young men. They are the reason for the speedy recovery of the team after the disappointing 2018-2019 campaign. These Boston Celtic stars moved up the ESPN's list of the best NBA players aged 25 and under for 2020. The majority of the team's fan base believes that Brown, who right now has an average career-high 19.3 points per game, has secured himself a place in the All-Star berth for his fourth season. This is because, according to them, he has significantly improved on every single part of his game. Most of his fans also stand behind the notion that he's the player to go to for the forthcoming seasons. It is not as though they are not making sense out of the prediction, since there have been a whole lot of satisfying facts about his game in the season so far. He has played about 24 games and a whopping 17 wins in these games. However, his improvement in other areas of his game could be said to be topping the charts as well. Tatum's involvement, however, has not been as smooth as Brown's. He's known to have regressed in some areas, and even though they were temporary, he has an average of 20.6 points, 7 rebounds, and about 2.9 assists per game. This achievement of his could also be referred to as an all-time career best. Nevertheless, when his current season is compared to the last, you would notice a reduction in his 45% shooting percentage in the previous season to 40.6%. Funny enough, he's still struggling to finish at the edge. His size and offensive skill set nonetheless submits that the possibility of the player to become one of the league's most productive scorers improves considerably with his experience and age. What is undeniable is that these two young talents are both all-star players. They're also meeting the very huge expectations that come with their draft position, since they both came in at number 3. And this has sparked off the recent question: if you were given a chance to pick one of them on a long-term basis for the team, which one of them are you most likely to keep? Now, personally, I would go for Brown for his defensive tenacity, but then again, Tatum also does excellent work on the court as well, so it's really a tough decision to make. I may go for Brown today, but I still have every right to change my mind next time, don't I? You're free to go with this decision of mine. You also have the right to conclude that I've made this decision in haste. All good. Let's look at some of the duo's achievements, and then you would be a better judge at the end of this massive comparison we are making today. First, let us know where Tatum and Brown rank in the NBA's top 25 and under tandems. When we're looking at this ranking, 5 other duos come to mind. The pairs are Dallas's Kristaps Porzingis and Luka Doncic, Denver's Nikola Jokic and Jamal Murray, Philadelphia's Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid, New Orleans' Brandon Ingram and Zion Williamson, and then Memphis's Jaren Jackson Jr. and Jay Morant. I could easily add Trae Young, Karl Anthony Towns, Devin Booker, and De'Aaron Fox, but unfortunately their partners are holding them back from making a list. Well, a lot of you guys may likely pick any 5 of these tandems in place of Brown and Tatum. Most of you would also argue that the duo won't stand a chance if Jokic, Embiid, Williamson, and Doncic were on the list, and you may be right. However, there is something really spectacular with the skills and results displayed by the Brown and Tatum duo that is way better than all the duos already on our lists.
Now Rozier with the steal, leads Tatum, stuffs. Jayson Tatum putting it down with 5.5 remaining.
Although Simmons and Embiid were selected 5 times to the All-Star game, however, they may likely be the worst pairing on this list. Brown and Tatum threw them off in their only playoff meeting about 2 years ago. The duo were the most productive players on a team that entered a game just a few minutes to its finals. They were also that close to the conference finals on the Nuggets and 76ers.
Being so young, it was always a dream of mine. And to be, for myself, my locker was next to LeBron, and
With Tatum and Brown on the Celtics team, they're outscoring their opponents by 10.4 points for every 100 possessions, and this they achieve in just 863 minutes. They are also posting about 113.8 offensive, 103.4 defensive ratings, and luckily this is about their second rank in the NBA ranking for the season. When compared to all the other players on the list, Tatum and Brown match all their achievements and more. However, in their number of assists, the duo is most of the times unappreciated for their talents. These guys are so flexible. They can fit comfortably with the flow of the game and give back to their audience more than is expected of them. They are just too daring to be ignored with or without the ball. They're bound to win in either transition or isolation. There is no need for them to improve on their passing skill, yet every other season you see them getting better than the season before. And not to forget, the duo can comfortably defend all 5 positions without batting an eyelid.
Tatum, that's his side. Not this time. Batted out by Tice. Rozier, Tatum!
Every other name on the tandems, except for Ingram and Williamson, have a point guard big man link that leads the offense. In Brown and Tatum's case, however, they are wings that complement one another and others without putting in much effort. They may not be all that great in their assists, but they have the lowest collective usage rate of about 50.4%. And when this rate is compared to every other duo's rate, it offers a wide margin. Surprisingly, the duo never commits fouls or turnovers. Basically, Tatum and Brown let the Boston Celtics function any way they want to.
Trying to play at the defensive end, got blown by Brown. Oh, yes! Hook jam! Yes! And flex on him, Jaylen Brown!
There's no doubt that most teams would still want to go with the Williamson-Ingram and Doncic-Porzingis duo, but the truth still remains that there's no 25 and under duo that is more balanced than the Tatum and Brown duo. Their position and skills are just out of this world. Now to their individual achievements. At age 22, Tatum was already 80 on ESPN Future Superstars list. However, his excellent performances took him up to the 3rd position. Now, besides being one of the most reliable players on the NBA's list of players, he's also turned out to be among the best on the Celtics team. He's the 6th player on the team to average 30 points in 1 month. His contract is due for an extension this season, and he would likely be making the maximum salary.
Brown with the step back, oh baby, he's got him leaning, but he gets his own rebound and then he slams it down.
Brown, on the other hand, is yet to make the ESPN Future Superstars at age 23. Nevertheless, after a brilliant performance and show of relentless skills, Brown has risen from number 25 to number 13 on that list. This is after he barely made it onto the list of top 25s in the last season. According to Marks, Brown is now a full-time starter and has gotten himself a defined role. His stats for each game so far have risen to a career high of 34 minutes per game. With an exact shooting percentage of 59%, Brown's play has been a positive addition on both ends.
The Jazz walloping the Celtics here in the 3rd. Brown powers it down with the pump and the stare.
Even with the comic twits making the rounds on social media when Brown signed a $115 million 4-year deal with the Boston Celtics, this did not pull Jaylen down in any way. Instead, he had begun his career with a surprising start and has knocked out most critics off of their socks. As for Tatum, however, his lack of production could be attributed to his current style of playing. He drifted away from his rookie season style of three-pointers and thus reducing his records. He instead depended on the questioned isolation of the mid-range jumpers. And although Tatum was speculated to be a better player than Brown, their stats show that they are both on the same page. The only difference is that Tatum is playing and shooting more than Brown. Summing up their importance on the team in a wild stat here.
I'm just trying to make plays. We just got back from London, and we're just trying to get our feet back under us. They came out and they played a little bit harder than us, and we lost. But we get it back next game. It's all good.
The duo has both recorded about 19 points or more for the current season. This has automatically catapulted the Celtics to a 17-0 score per Boston Sports. The team's victory over the Atlanta Hawks had both Brown and Tatum's signature boldly written on it. Brown and Tatum contributed 21 and 28 points respectively in the game. Nevertheless, with the duo on the Boston Celtics team, the team's future is no doubt in great hands. It's hard to choose from these superstars. Nevertheless, a decision would have to be made. I think at this time, I would most definitely go for Brown. He's a more wide-ranging player, or at least the most dedicated on both ends of the floor. Tatum has shown indications of aggressive greatness, but Brown seems more gamely reliable on both ends of the court. Although his new contract was met with a lot of skeptics, he has so far proved everyone wrong with his exceptional skill and finesse. Anyway guys, that's it for me today. If there are other whys and wherefores you think are reasonable for the Boston Celtics to keep Tatum instead of Brown, be sure to comment down below and I'll include it in a subsequent video. If you love this video and you want to see more videos just like it, be sure to give us a like. Do not forget to hit subscribe and hit that bell button. That's it for me guys. I hope you have an excellent rest of your day and I'll see you in the next video.